Beloved 8% Hard AF Seltzer is now live in over 2,500 locations across the United States. We're now available in Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, North Carolina, Ohio, and Texas. Go to hardafseltzer.com today, click on the store locator, enter your city or zip, and find the nearest location closest to you.
Live from our studios in Austin, Texas, this is Drinkin' Bros Fake News with Ross Patterson, Dan Hollaway, Papa G with the traffic,
How you feel?
Not good.
Yeah?
field reporter Hot Bob, and Delco Dan with sports. Welcome to Fake News.
Yeah! Welcome to Drinkin' Bros Fake News, everybody. Bringing you the realest, fakest news from the week. Starting off with some real news at the top here. Our old friend Ryan Mills is out there in these streets for Hard AF Seltzer. New stores in Tennessee, Mount Juliet Beer Co., Sinkers Market, North Shore Liquor and Wine in Chattanooga. Love Chattanooga. Let's go Mox. In Texas, we got Brock's Liquor in Brock, Texas. United Market in Canyon and Lubbock, Texas. The Beer Garden at Blue Heron in Waller. And then Soul Rise in Corpus Christi. Let's go, fam. Amped about that. Also amped to announce our election show on November 5th. We'll be here in Austin, Texas, live at WTF downtown. Everything will get kicked off about 6 p.m. D'Anthony, we ordered 50 cases there. Is that going to be enough? When we ran the numbers, that was about 1,200 cans. What you reckon there?
Yeah, I mean, that's enough for 200 people.
You think so?
6 each. Most people won't drink 6.
Well, they should.
No.
Yes. With this election, they absolutely should.
They might do it, but I don't think they will.
I'll have 12 that night alone.
I don't care if people decide to black out or not. They should.
Yeah, they should.
I probably
We don't know what's going to happen. If we don't get an answer by midnight, then we're screwed anyway. So, yeah. It's going to be a dark, dark night. I told Jesse earlier in Ross Patterson Revolution, I think I might just throw another 10 cases in the trunk just in case. Just in case. We'll see what happens. I don't have a lot of confidence in it. The way that these polls are flipping back and forth so quickly now is very, very odd to me.
Why are you paying attention to that?
Because it's in the headlines. We cover it every single day, and I'm just trying to make sense of it. Now, I know we did that show last week about it, about what they really mean and everything else, but now the houses are switching. So it's not just presidents. The latest one has the House going to the Democrats and the Senate going to the Republicans.
The House
I haven't heard that before.
The House has been projected to Democrats. I look at it like most days just out of curiosity. The House has been projected for Democrats almost the entire time.
Okay, and what about the Senate?
Senate has been projected for Republicans also almost the entire time that I've seen.
But you think we're getting House, Senate, and President, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I do.
So, yeah, that's why I find all of this odd and fascinating.
Well, I mean, it's, again, polling is not real.
No, I know.
It's not one part of it is factual in nature.
Yeah. But the Kamala up by 8 thing really came down when NBC News yesterday said, no, Trump is up by 1. And you're like, all right. Well, what the fuck does that mean? Who knows? For me personally, we're 40 days out, less than that now, right? God damn.
Yeah.
We're 39 days out from the election. I just want the answer now at this point, and I want to move on with my fucking life.
Well, my understanding is the answer is Allen Iverson.
Well, that's always been the answer.
Yeah. So,
but he's not running for president.
Yeah. Well, maybe he should be.
Allegedly. We'll see. You can write him in.
Didn't his mom get really mad one time because people were being mean to him?
No, best Allen Iverson photo I've ever seen in my entire life was his mom braiding his hair on the bench during a live game. Bob, if you can pull up that photo.
But didn't she get
a
mad?
winner.
Like somebody was at their house trying to interview him, and she was like, "Get the fuck out of here" or something. I don't remember
that. She was yelling at people at the games. She's a big fan there. But yeah, there's a shot of her braiding her son's hair on the bench, which is an all-time fave for me. And I've got a lot of Allen Iverson faves, but this says it all right here. You know, this says I care about winning so much that I want my mom sitting behind me braiding my hair during the game. You know, that's family. So if you're out there and you're saying, hey, am I being a good mom or dad to my child? She is. Are you? Are you braiding your kids' hair at their sporting events? Probably not.
How many other times has a single player dragged their team into the finals? Like just one player? Because that's what happened, right?
I can name it in college. So I'll give that one to Melo in Syracuse, and then I predicted the Cam Ward thing with Miami. He's going to pull them in the playoffs by himself. There's nobody else in that team. But basketball-wise, that's
LeBron.
LeBron probably, yeah, with Cleveland.
With Cleveland round one.
Yeah.
LeBron, fuck yeah, that team was horrible.
Yeah, they were terrible. So that's probably the only two that I can name in recent memory. But other than that, no one. Because an NFL player can't do it on his own. It takes a team. But with this, yeah, you got 5 dudes. If one guy's on fire, it'll work. Melo actually won the championship, though, like in college, which was fucking rad.
That Syracuse team was deeper than people give it credit for.
Anybody else go pro, though?
Yeah, I can't remember his name. He was a good pro, but I can't remember his name.
Yeah, and something other than sports.
There it is. Thank you, Delco. Thank you. Set that up on the tee for you.
Yeah, Hakeem Ward.
Oh, he was okay.
If you are a solid pro in the NBA, that means you are very good in college.
Very good in college.
Also, that Sixers team wasn't a bunch of bums. You had Defensive Player of the Year, Dikembe Mutombo. You had Sixth Man of the Year.
No man fly in the house of Mutombo. Sorry, I just wanted to do that, obviously. Who else was on there?
Sixth Man of the Year, Aaron McKee.
I don't know who that is, friend. Don't know who that is. R.I.P. Is he alive or dead?
I think he's still alive.
All right, well, look into it. That's how well I do or don't know him. Maybe he's at Mayor Eric Adams' house. Man, this is a fun story, isn't it? New York City. Mayor Eric Adams has been indicted today. FBI agents raided New York City's mayoral mansion on Thursday morning in a pre-dawn raid hours before a federal indictment on campaign corruption charges against Mayor Eric Adams became public. Federal prosecutors allege he illegally received foreign and corporate campaign donations for a decade in exchange for influence. Adams countered with a video statement saying any charges filed against him would be entirely false and based on lies. He also insinuated that his criticism of the Biden administration's disastrous border policies made him a target for retaliation. Now, that one I actually agree with. That's plausible to me. Bob, you want to play that clip here?
Which clip?
How many is there? How long was his fucking speech today?
I mean, there's a couple. There's the press conference one. There's this address to the city from TV.
Let's start there for sure.
Start with the address.
Yeah, okay. I haven't seen these, so let's hear it. I only read the article this morning.
My fellow New Yorkers, it is now my belief that the federal government intends to charge me with crimes. If so,
you think so?
These charges will be entirely false, based on lies. But they would not be surprising. I always knew that if I stood my ground for all of you, that I would be a target. And a target I became. For months, leaks and rumors have been aimed at me in an attempt to undermine my credibility and paint me as guilty. Just this past week, they searched the home of our new police commissioner, looking for documents from 20 years ago, just 1 week after he joined my administration. Enough. I will fight these injustices with every ounce of my strength and my spirit. If I'm charged, I know I am innocent. I will request an immediate trials so the New Yorkers can hear the truth. New Yorkers know my story. They know where I come from. I have been fighting injustice my entire life. That fight has continued as your mayor. Despite our pleas, when the federal government did nothing as its broken immigration policies overloaded our shelter system with no relief, I put the people of New York before party and politics. Now,
dramatic pause.
Oh, okay.
Many may say I should resign because I cannot manage the city while fighting the case. I can also understand how everyday New Yorkers will be concerned that I cannot do my job while I face accusation. But I have been facing these lies for months since I began to speak out for all of you and their investigation started. Yet the city has continued to improve. Make no mistake, you elected me to lead this city, and lead it I will. I humbly ask for your prayers and your patience as we see this through. God bless you, and God bless the city of New York. Thank you.
Trumps, man, Trumps. That's what I wanted to hear at the end of that. That would have been awesome. That would have been awesome.
Yeah, you got to wonder how. I don't know. I mean, I just assume that a mayor of a major city is corrupt, right? And that it just slides because who cares, right? I mean, I care. I don't like it, but I'm like from the political spectrum or the actual Department of Justice now, which is, to be honest, not what that is. But I would believe any side of this. I would believe that Adams is guilty of everything he did, everything they're saying, rather. I could believe that everybody is guilty of all this stuff and that they selectively prosecute it when it suits them politically. And I could also believe that they made it all up to punish him for, not, I guess, towing the sanctuary city line. It makes them look bad when the mayor of the largest city in the country says, hey, these Democratic policies are failing, right? So I could see all of that, but, some of the alleged fraud is public funding for his campaign that used small dollar donations with matching grants up to $2,000 supported by taxpayers, and then a donation of $250 from an individual could send a candidate up to $2,000 in quote matching funds from taxpayers. It happened so frequently that Adams allegedly received $10 million from the program. So it was a program funded by taxpayers for his reelection campaign.
Now,
which is not how that's supposed to work.
No,
right?
and does the $10 million go into his bank account, or where does that go?
It goes into his campaign war chest, which he's responsible for to the FEC. And then on top of the campaign donations, he allegedly received other perks like free flights on Turkish Airlines to destinations in Europe and Asia.
Well, that we knew. Remember, we covered that story where he went to Italy.
Yeah, he allegedly asked about flying to Chile's Easter Island on a Turkish jet, but he couldn't because it did not offer the route that he connected him in the right way, or some shit. So, again, there's a rule in federal government. I don't know about for mayors, but there's a rule in federal government where you're not allowed to take a gift over $50, I think, or else you have to register, because foreign dignitaries give gifts to American politicians and staffers all the time. But you're supposed to not accept it, or it's supposed to go into. So now it's become more ceremonial. Well, they'll give you a flag or an ancient piece of furniture or like a fucking flower pot or some bullshit, and you just give it to the National Archives, right? That's pretty common now. I don't know what the rules are for a mayor, right? Like he's the mayor of a city. What is he doing exactly for Turkish Airlines? Like what inside of his scope of power, what can he do for Turkish Airlines really? That would be a quid pro quo to get him free flights.
Well,
you know what I mean? I mean, as the mayor of one, I know that it's the biggest city, but he's not voting on bills. He doesn't do that.
No.
And he doesn't really set policy for the airports. They're privately owned, right? It's like, I don't understand. I don't know what, I don't think the mayor has any control over the New York airports, right?
If there's a hurricane or something like that, then the answer is yes. than they would because it's transportation and travel, and that happened in Wilmington. I remember our mayor, I think it was Bill Saffo was his name, when the hurricanes hit. He was in charge of, hey, this is what we're doing, and we're going to shut the city down. And blah, blah, blah.
So yeah, but JFK is owned by Queens.
Okay, so that would be a different district then. Yeah.
He's the mayor of all of New York, but it's owned by the borough of Queens specifically. So maybe he has some kind of reach into that, but how would you?
What about LaGuardia? Check up.
If it's in one of the boroughs, then yes, and I think it is. It's right.
Is.
Yeah. I mean, he appoints all the city commissioners and stuff. So if you're talking about airports or
all of it,
getting maybe an airline skating by. I mean, if you're just talking about airlines, right?
And his
skating by inspections or whatever.
But we can go back to his excuse for going to Italy. It was a business trip to talk to the prime minister or whatever the fuck it is, president of Italy,
Mesco, whatever,
about immigration specifically and how they're dealing with it.
According to the indictment, it was little things from the Turks, including expediting a fire safety inspection at a consulate building. And,
fucking who cares?
And not releasing a statement on Armenian Genocide Remembrance Day because they are not big fans of acknowledging that happened.
Okay, so also LaGuardia is owned by the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. So he, again, would not be in charge of that. It would be a board, probably, that's in charge of that stuff. I guess the only thing could be those, like, I'll get you a scaffolding permit.
Yep.
Oh, we're going to indict a guy in federal court over that?
Yeah.
The mayor of a major metropolitan city in the United States, we're going to indict him over giving Turkish Airlines some scaffolding permits. I mean, fuck off, dude. This is obviously just retribution.
Well,
not that I like the guy. I think he's a cunt, right?
That was some of it. I mean, it's They didn't pay $10 million to not release allegedly pay $10 million to not release an Armenian genocide.
Well, that wasn't them that spent $10 million. The $10 million came from taxpayers, which is very problematic. If that's true, then we got some problems.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But it doesn't surprise me with this guy.
For a campaign of that, I'm sure he's corrupt, but for a campaign of that size, I'm not sure how much attention the candidate himself is paying to the fundraising. You know what I mean? You're in a city of 10 million people, basically, which is bigger than a statewide election in Wyoming.
Yep.
A statewide election in Minnesota.
Oregon.
Like I don't think most states have 10 million people, right?
I would say it's probably under 10. Under 10 states, I would imagine.
I mean,
population by state.
Michigan has 9 million.
There's 10 states with 10 million or more people.
Yeah.
Nailed it. Look at that.
Right?
North Carolina has
10 states, which is like New York City is bigger than 40 of the states.
Yeah.
So do you think that, I don't know, a guy running for office in Virginia, Washington State, New Jersey, Arizona, Tennessee, or Massachusetts is accountable for every dollar that's in their campaign war chest? I mean, honestly, you could find smoke like that in anybody. And to be honest, from the FEC perspective, from the Federal Election Committee perspective, they can charge him with whatever. And the remediation for this, should he want to plead guilty or deal with it outside of courts, is to do what Hillary Clinton did back in the day, pay a fine of like $1,200 or something like that, and then give the money back to the taxpayer. And that's it. That's the end of it. So a federal indictment for all this stuff is...
But that's what they did to Trump's, man. Trump's. They did this same thing to Trump's.
Well, so is he going to come out and endorse Trump now? How funny would that be?
Probably. Not that you want that endorsement right now.
It's me and Trump.
Trump, man. Trump's. No, but with this guy... Yeah, dude, you cross too many people here with this bullshit, and then they get you out of there. I mean, you're seeing it happen over and over and over again in New York. I've said it a million fucking times on this show, especially with those two bullshit trials. And I'm going to go back to the other one that he's still under that nobody talks about. You know that one loophole year for Trump just to get him on the E. Jean Carroll bullshit? Well, they were like, oh, everybody can do this. He's actually still has a rape charge out here. Eric Adams does. From 1993. So that's coming down the pike here. I think people are fed up with the migrant crisis that's going on. I think people are fed up with 10,000 National Guard members in the fucking subways, all of it. And then they wanted this fucking guy out of there because he wouldn't play ball one way or the other. I also think he doesn't have some crazy, like, rich family background. A guy who's thrust into this position to be the mayor of, in my opinion, the most powerful city in the world. Yeah, dude, they're going to be corrupt as shit because they've never done any of this shit. Even that fucking video, and I hate to go back to, of him on the plane when he took it, I've never seen a human being more happier getting on a flight before than this fucking guy. He was just amped to go anywhere for the first time in his life. And now he's in this position. He never should have got it in the first place. And then here we are. And it's a clusterfuck. Now, you can argue where this came down from over and over and over again, but I think he's pissed off so many people, you could fucking toss a coin at this point of who actually pulled the trigger on this. But he's out of there. Now, Bob, the question I have for you is he on the ballot for November, or was that a different election altogether? Is he in a different year?
He is won it more recently, so I don't think he's currently facing an election year.
Okay.
Yeah, he assumed office in 22, so he was a 2021 election.
Got it.
And so he wouldn't be up till next year.
Next year, okay.
I guess, yeah. I was probably be 4 years. But he's been in New York politics for a long time. He was the borough president of Brooklyn starting in 2014, which is being the mayor of a city bigger than most U.S. cities just by being the borough president of Brooklyn. And before that, he's been in the state senate since 2007. So at this point, he's been in New York politics for almost 20 years.
Okay, gotcha. But I mean, still, the mayor of New York, that is a big fucking deal. I can name all of them, for Christ's sakes. I can't even name the mayor of this city. Can you? Of Austin?
No.
I have no idea who it is. No idea.
Brooklyn, the borough, is 2.68 million.
Yeah.
So that's bigger than most U.S. cities.
For sure. But yeah, New York, you know. L.A., you know. I know fucking Karen Bass, for Christ's sakes. Atlanta, I know. Chicago with Beetlejuice. But that's about it. That's kind of where it ends. I don't even know the fucking mayor in this city, for Christ's sakes, in Austin. Now, people are coming out against him here. And if you want to pull up AOC's tweet, she says he should resign and resign immediately. You got
I'll give
it?
you a video.
Oh, great. Oh, she already spoke about it?
She's spoken several
Okay, great.
times, but this is one of the times.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, play this video. I haven't seen it.
Right now, I think this is squarely about Mayor Adams' ability to govern New York City and for the New York City governance to be fully staffed to serve the people of New York City. And frankly, under this constant stream of scandal, I do not know if the city will be able to even name replacements for all of these resignations and vacancies at this point. And so it is a very unfortunate time. We do not want to see this happening in our city, but unfortunately it is. And I think for the best of the city, and so that we can continue to staff the administration of the city, it would be best for Mayor Adams.
This is the DNC reaching out to AOC and saying, hey, go give a press conference and say he needs to resign.
Yep.
That's what that is.
It sure is.
And it's so funny to see how quickly she went from political outsider, progressive, we're going to change everything, to just, Democrat.
Yep. And they called her first and foremost and said, hey, hop on out there. You're the most famous one we have in New York, and get him the fuck out of there. A lot of people, because I'm reading her Twitter statement right now, which virtually says the same thing as she said in the press conference. Everybody's saying the same thing. The left will eat their own. Yes, they will. Because another big takeaway from her speech right there is saying that there's been so many resignations and so many people and all the things. No one wants to be in New York anymore. No one wants to be in that fucking city. You're taxing them to death. There's 10,000 fucking National Guard troops in the fucking subways, which has never happened before. People are still getting killed, and you have this migrant crisis on top of it. No one wants to live there. And now, where's all the tax dollars going to come from with everybody fleeing there, is what I don't really understand.
That is a big problem, right? And it's a problem that isn't just because of, it's easy to blame everything that's going on in major U.S. cities on Democrats. And to be frank, the speed at which it's happening is their fault, because they're incompetent and they refuse to enforce the law. But some of it is also the I guess you could call it the rise and fall of megacities. And this happens all throughout human history. It happens in every country, where the labor market changes for some reason or another. Sometimes it's a new piece of technology. Sometimes it's like the cloth and wool exports from, Portugal back in the medieval period, where it changed to that. and then Venice as well. Venice was a big part of that. Venice, their entire economy was based on that, so they became a ship-based economy because it's an island. They got to fucking move their shit around to make any money, right? Now it's all tourism there, so it's not a problem. But back then it was like that. The internet has created, and the internet plus circumstance, so like COVID and all this other stuff that happened, has made work from home popular.
Yep.
Not just popular. There are like major, or the hinterlands around major cities in Europe right now are paying people, in Japan as well, are paying people to come move to their little town 40, 50 miles outside of Madrid or outside 100 miles outside of Tokyo, right? And they'll pay you 15, 20,000 US a year just to live there. So, and work remotely, right? This will be the, I don't see how it comes back after this. We'll see how things go, but it's going to be something of a disillusion of the mega city as we see it today. And we've seen it happen a couple of times recently with that big city that China built for industry, but it never fucking
ghost
industry.
town.
Yeah, and there's just nobody there anymore. Cities are going to be, it's going to be harder to find capital to do something like that anymore. So I don't think that'll happen. But places like New York and LA are bleeding people right now. And right now they're going to other major areas and other major cities. But at some point, the cost and scarcity of housing are going to drive people farther out into the hinterland. And we're going to see major economic shifts from this. Commercial real estate is going to lose all of its value, right? As far as office buildings go.
Yeah.
Warehouses and production and shit like that, that'll stay around. But we've got to see where this is going to lead, you know. Local businesses, as a result of that, might have a problem finding people to work there. If everybody lives 45 minutes out of a city, right? Like Austin's 20 minutes that way, right? Yep. Like downtown, I mean. We're in Austin technically, but if 90% of the people lived in Wembley or farther away, people probably aren't going down there to go to restaurants anymore. So restaurants don't stay in business there anymore. So what you're going to see is decentralization. There will be more people living farther away, which means one of two things are going to happen. Either mom and pop companies stop popping up everywhere to provide stuff because people don't want to drive 45 minutes for it, or conglomerates like Amazon and Walmart are going to build more places, right? Either way, it's going to be decentralized, which is good and bad news, man. You know, it's good news politically, in my opinion, because you're no longer going to have densely populated urban areas that always vote Democrat anymore. And fucking swayed populations. The Democratic population will be spread out more across the countryside. And then people will probably be less likely to vote for them as well because they're not poor inside of cities, frankly, right? So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Blaming it on Democrats is easy. And they do bear most of the responsibility for how quickly it's going. But some of this is also just the natural evolution of a country.
Yeah, and look, New York and LA, I can speak on in particular, having lived in both. So let's go back to the COVID thing that you mentioned. You know, they shut down everybody's businesses. Those mom and pop restaurants you were talking about earlier, or the stores and all that other stuff, they got hit first, and they were out of business. And then the big guys come in, and then they end up buying their property and saying, all right, great, I'll put the fucking Walmart there or whatever it is. A lot of those people didn't come back. The others who stayed, because of these policies and everything that's going on, they need tax dollar money from the people that are actually living there in New York and LA. Therefore, they jack up everything on the other side. So your rents, your fucking, and I'm not just talking about apartments and everything else. I'm talking restaurants and all that other shit are jacked through the roof. You're not making any money off the food that you're serving in the restaurants and everything else. Those all get pushed out. Yeah. Those are fucking gone. The latest in New York is the craziest, is the toll to get into New York City by car. It's $64 fucking dollars now. 64 bucks just to go into New York City. So if you're on the outskirts and you're like, hey man, do I want to pop into the city for a day and pay 64 going in and then 64 going out? No. I would rather just stay in Hoboken or wherever the fuck that I live rather than go into New York City. And then same with Los Angeles, where nobody can afford these rents and these prices and everything else. Now that all the production is gone from Los Angeles, what is that city anymore?
Well, I mean, it's not just New York and LA. It's all over the world, as I said. Europe is doing this. Asia is doing this right now, right? It's a function of technology in a lot of ways. Now, all the other stuff going wrong, fucking up the housing market had nothing to do with the internet. That was fucking Barney Franks and the stupid, like, leftist, everybody deserves to have a mortgage. Bullshit, right? It's like deserve has nothing to do with it. It's a math problem, motherfucker. So yeah, none of that stuff had anything to do with the internet or technology, but the internet has given people a second option. Like, you know what? Fuck California. Fuck New York. I'm going to go live in Alabama in the woods somewhere and do the exact same thing I'm doing right now, making the same money, and my money goes twice as far now.
Yes.
And that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing that unproductive, inefficient cities go away, frankly, right? And some of the downstream effects that are actually really good is that, well, that can be good if we go the right way with this. Because it seems like, oh, fuck, our cities are dying, blah, 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 this is horrible, you know, woe is me. But in reality, if we start leaning on the American farmer again, and instead of having, 15 or 20 major farms in America owned by conglomerates that are pumping out food and freeze drying and blah, 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 then you have 100,000 farms in America owned by smaller people. Like every major city should have several farms and ranches around it, right? That eliminates food deserts and it eliminates the need to put weird shit in food to make it more shelf stable, because what's getting made is getting consumed right there.
But that's
right?
Assuming they're going to let Americans buy that land. And right now, a lot of it's going to China.
Well, should Trump get in, he'll ban China owning farmland in America.
You should ban every country.
That'll be
from owning
sure, yeah. But I mean, China's
there.
the only one actually doing it.
Yeah.
That's not true. Japan does as well. But the food thing will be that. Like I'm just saying, there's ways to deal with this that make it actually a good thing. The food thing is one. Not having compressed metro areas anymore. As I said before, the geographical democratic power gets distributed across now. Instead of having San Francisco, Oakland, and Los Angeles and California deciding everything for the entire state, that's not really a thing anymore, right? So the demographics of that state change quite a bit if you don't have a bunch of people voting just in cities, right? If 80% of the vote isn't just in cities, Democrats don't win elections anymore. You know what I mean? Which isn't to say the Democratic Party goes away. It is instead to say that they have to actually do stuff for people again to win their vote back, instead of just like bribing them as they do now.
And the wildest thing for me regarding Eric Adams is that he was even elected in the first place. It was a bunch of shitty candidates in that election, which you don't see very often. I remember Hillary Clinton wanted to run after 2016. She had kind of pushed that around of maybe running for mayor when he did. Because that's how big that job is. That's one job that you're like, all right, great. You're mayor of New York, and that's a big fucking deal. Well, it turns out not anymore. By the way, on those tolls going in and out, the hilarious thing about those fucking things is it's due to the hours, too, by the way. So they'll jack it up by 4.3%, Port Authority, if you're crossing between 6 a.m. and 10 a.m., 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. on weekdays, and then 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. on weekends. So, like, there's hot spots now where it's like, oh, man, we got to get in there. You're going to lose another fucking 5% in tolls.
But again, like, real estate value is based on the same stuff that everything else is based on economically, like supply versus demand, COGS, like building costs and all that stuff. All of that stuff is cheaper the more surface area there is, right? The cheaper everything gets. So residential housing should go way over this. We're talking about like a 15 to 25 year period where the internet allows for people to say, fuck you, I'm not working in cities anymore, which is already happening.
It's already happening now.
Rapidly. 15, 25 years from now, who knows how far down the line we're going to be on that. But it should drastically reduce home costs, right? I mean, like big time, which might be the only thing that saves the American housing
assuming
market.
they build enough homes.
Who's they though? I mean, like
anyone.
No, so what will happen? Like private builders can't be stopped from building the houses.
No, they can't. But that doesn't mean. Well, actually, they can. That's why. That's one reason that a huge reason why living costs have gotten so fucked.
Yeah, but that's only the case in cities, Bob. Like counties don't do that shit.
It depends on the county. Honestly, I think there's plenty of counties that'll do it, or plenty of counties that'll be corrupt. I mean, you need to be vigilant about it.
The only thing you need to do is move into the city or the county rather, and there's 6 board seats. County Board of Supervisors, 6 people. You can take that over with 4 people and then fucking shut all that shit down.
I'm telling you.
Like that's the whole purpose of federalism is to reduce that all the way down to the lowest possible level.
You're gonna, when this happens, and I do think you're right, there'll be some expansion into what they call the exurbs now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're gonna see it's really only a thing with, for the most part, with left-leaning people right now, NIMBYs, right? You're going to start to see country NIMBYs. You're going to start to see exurban NIMBYs, people who moved out to be like, I wanted to see the sky at night. I don't want these lights and shit like that. They're going to try to stop the building of more houses, the building of bigger infrastructure, because when people come out, that infrastructure has to follow to an extent. It won't be a city level extent. Yeah. But yes, people are going to be out there blocking the building of houses. There's going to be NIMBYism wherever you go because people... It's reflexive that people are gonna be like, I don't want this to change. I moved out here so I could see the stars at night, so I could live in the woods.
Well, but the West.
We're going through the highway right now. By the way,
I'm aware.
The West Hills you're in the city here, though, right?
No, this is going all the way out to Dripping Springs.
No, I know it is, but you're in the city right here. They haven't approved that shit in Dripping Springs yet. We'll see.
Yeah, that's done. So they've already funded it. So in 2028, that starts on January 2028. I sat in on the board meeting.
We have dark skies. Here in Hayes County, well, you're in Austin, I guess, in Travis County, but in Hayes County, there's a county law called dark skies, and you're not allowed to have street lamps and shit like that. For that reason that you're talking about. There's easy ways to solve that problem, but yeah, I'm sure there's going to be, and it's the same. It's HOA people.
Yes,
that's the form that it'll take, but. There's so much more land. That's what I'm talking about, man. Like half of these fucking new properties are going to be built in unincorporated areas, like Driftwood, for example, where I live, has about 180 people that live there.
They'll be built there if people think they get out there, but that's what I'm saying. There's other bottlenecks with the NIMBYism, right? Like roads and stuff like that, or just construction in general. I'm just saying like that. They're going to be. So that's what I'm saying. Where it's like, yeah, that'll happen if we make sure we get the housing unit, and I'm pro that. I'm just saying we need to build the fucking housing, and you need to kind of like. Overpower politically the people who would be there to stop you. I mean, it's not a single political party thing. You're also going to see people against building apartment units in exurban areas, right? And built maybe Trump had a whole thing, I think in 20 or 16.
Chappelle was the most famous one.
Yeah.
He shut that apartment complex
I think
down.
the most famous one is Steph Curry and his wife.
They shut one down too?
In Danville, right, just east of Oakland. Yeah, they wanted to build affordable housing.
Yep.
Next to his neighborhood, and he was like,
Yeah, of course.
And there's a thing with Republicans where they were like, hey, they're going to turn, when they get rid of zoning laws, right? They're going to turn everything into these mini downtowns with apartment complexes and stuff like that, which I don't. That to me I'm agnostic to that term.
Yeah, who fucking cares?
Like a walkable downtown where I can go to restaurants and the workers can live there cheaply because they can't own land. And
like Blanco down here, or even Wimberley, or Bernie, or Georgetown. There's a bunch of cities like small, like that. That's what America should look like, though, right? Like if somebody's got a problem with that, I think they're fucking stupid.
But there are a shit fucking ton of people who do, and so that is something when this happens that you have to overcome politically, no matter what side of the aisle you're on. If you are.
Yeah. There's always got to be some kind of challenge, but I agree. I think the first biggest challenge is just building more houses farther away from the city. And then I think at the same time, like it is a political restructuring to some degree, because not just how people vote, but where they're voting now, right? And on what. Like if you live in the city, you're worried about public safety, bums everywhere, shit like that, maybe taxes to some degree. But when you live in the country, you're worried about all the stuff he just said, like stay the fuck away from me. Yeah. Right. The good news.
That's what I'm trying right now, by the way.
The good news is there's plenty.
I'm talking to you, TxDOT.
There's plenty of room here, not just Texas, but everywhere. There's plenty of room everywhere. It's not true that we're overpopulated. It's fucking retarded that people say we're overpopulated. But at the same time you're doing that, you also have to build infrastructure for food, right? Mm-hmm. It's because the alternative is Soylent Green. The alternative is Amazon delivers you a box of fucking freeze-dried food every day, and you fucking throw hot water on it. You know what I mean? And it's whatever they want it to be. So I don't know. That's another bigger problem because a lot of people depend on restaurants for their food. Yeah, you know what I mean. And they live in cities. What do they do now? And I guess so. It's just like it's like a fundamental reshaping of how American life works from 7 a.m. until 11 p.m. when you go to sleep or whenever it is, right? It's like my day is, I got to spend X amount of time doing this. It takes me 45 minutes to get to work. It takes me 45 minutes to get back. Then I've got to do X, Y, Z. I don't have time to fucking feed my goddamn kids. Now you're working 3 hours a day on the internet.
Yep.
Right? So how much time do you have to do what exactly? And the prioritization on vehicles is going to go down. I don't know how that's going to affect the gas industry. You know what I mean? Like people are going to move. They might move around just as much, but not as regular, right? You wouldn't think, because why would they? Like somebody that's working. Well, I mean, you guys, have you ever worked from home primarily before?
Yes.
What's that look like for you? Like, what's the day look like?
My job right before this one, I was work from home. Wake up probably 15 minutes before work, which was sweet.
Fuck yeah.
Go into the off my home office, turn on Slack, check in, take a shower, eat breakfast, then start my day, work till lunch. Pretty much finish most of my work before lunch, and then I would do whatever I like after lunch. Finish work, take meetings, take a nap if I was really not busy.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I did. I honestly, my ideal would be hybrid, because there's definitely days I don't want to be in the fucking house. But I liked the freedom of having an option. Like I could go to a coffee house and work if I wanted, just like needed to be in a different space or needed to get the fuck out of the house. But I liked having the option of like, I don't have to wake up an hour and a half earlier, right? I get in my car, I just get like traffic shoved up my ass or whatever. Like there's the convenience and the lack of stress from that. It makes
and then what are you doing with that extra time too, I think is important for people, because the inclination is just to sit on your fucking couch and watch SportsCenter for that extra hour and a half a day that you're not driving. But what can you do? It's it's kind of like the same idea behind what are you going to do with any challenge, or what are you going to do with any opportunity, right? So like the weekend, some people say the weekend is to recuperate. People that are hustlers say that they use the weekend to build the future that they want, right? Like I'm going to go to night school or fucking work on my business or whatever. I think the inclination for Americans is going to be the same as it is when we get a fucking tax rebate. But it's that $300 goes into fucking PlayStation games or some shit like that, right?
Or a dog collar.
So what are we doing with that extra 90 minutes a day? Are we spending it with our kids? Are we spending it fucking building more autonomy for ourselves, like a business for ourselves, so we don't have to answer to anybody? I mean, what do you do?
I know my answer.
I do think the inclination for the vast majority of people is just going to be to sit around there with a thumb up their ass.
100%. Like I've always worked, and it's just.
But I don't understand.
I don't know anything else.
That makes sense to me. But you got to find something. Like you talk about this sometimes. Like I don't know, what was I doing with all my time before I had kids? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I spend so much time with them now, and it's all good. But what the fuck was I doing with all that time? You were doing nothing.
No. I was doing something, but it was work, and it was late. Like my hours were super fucking. They were Joel's hours, to be honest with you, till like 5 a.m. Right, and the whole schedule was fucked because I was up writing every single night till about 5 a.m. So that's what I mean with my time personally, where it was just like, all right, the rest of the day, what the fuck was, what are you doing to get to that point and everything else?
That's what I'm saying, though. It's
right.
How do you fill that? I'm not even going to call it a void, because it's not going to feel like one.
No.
You know what I mean? But it should.
Yeah.
Like why do you need to relax for like 4 or 5 hours a day? I don't understand that. I've never understood that. Like I understand if you've been on
muscle growth.
Yeah, I know, right? We've been traveling a lot lately, so I'm kind of tired. So some days I just won't do shit, right? But that's kind of an aberration. On a typical day, if I'm like Sunday, for example, I didn't want to do anything, and I didn't do anything until about 1 p.m. I was like, fuck this. What am I gonna do? Sit here all day? I started to get angry about it. But we are not in a great position as human beings to have fundamental changes in the way we do business, because we're all fucking stupid and weak. You know what I mean? So we're going to make stupid and weak decisions.
Do you think New York City crumbles then eventually?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Fucking most corporate jobs, though, you have like 2 hours of work a day. and you're just sitting on your ass for 6 hours listening to podcasts, figuring out what to do. And I would, like when I was at NBC Golf Channel and everything, I would actively go out to different departments to find other people's jobs and other work. I'm like, can I help you with this? Can I help you with this? I was so fucking bored.
It sucks, man.
And if you go down to downtown Austin, I know they said, hey, there was a tech boom here and everybody's here, which is true technically. Their buildings are here, but they're fucking empty, man. Most of those people live in my neighborhoods. With like Facebook and Google and all that other stuff, and like they all work from home. Nobody works in their goddamn office. And I don't know what they're going to do with those buildings. Back to what you were saying about commercial real estate earlier, too. What do you do with those things? The latest one for sale was WeWork. You guys have seen that WeWork building downtown? Mm-hmm. Gone. They're selling that.
6th Street, I believe,
yeah.
right?
They're selling that, and they're trying to sell all those fucking buildings, but I don't know what you do. Maybe housing, I guess. But it's interesting to hear that you think New York will die. What about LA?
I think LA will die before New York. New York still has stuff that people want.
New York also offers a certain type of life in terms of like everything's walkable.
There's an energy about it.
Right.
Yeah, I would be sad to lose New York. LA can fucking burn.
Yeah, there's too much sprawl in LA for it to survive.
I don't want to lose New York.
I don't think it'll crumble. I just think it'll become decentralized. Like all the different neighborhoods will become different cities.
It could be.
Well, they'll re-become different cities.
Yeah,
It used to be quite a bit
more
more separated. Like Brooklyn was Brooklyn back in the day. Now it's just a fucking.
And then Jay-Z sold him out, dude.
Yeah.
He was like, "No, let's put a basketball team here, Holmes. Let's do it." And if you're out there and you have bought a new home, or maybe you're renting a new home, you know what you need? A ghost bed from ghostbed.com/Drinkin Bros. Our title sponsor. 50% off everything in the entire store with the promo code Drinkin Bros at checkout. Times are tough, as we've been talking about here for the last 45 in most major cities and everywhere else. Ghostbed's making it easy for you. All their products are made in the U.S. of A. Mattresses, sheets, pillows, adjustable bases, you name it, it is all 50% off. You want that new Venus Williams collection 50% off? Great. Go and do it. You want that massage topper for your mattress? Go and do it. 50% off. A weighted blanket? Sure. I could sleep another 3 or 4 hours like D'Anthony said earlier. Get that thing. You'll go night-night real quick. I can tell you that. Doesn't matter how many items you put in the carts. You're getting everything 50% off with the promo code Drinkin Bros at checkout. Plus, when you check out, you're going to see a 3-year pay-as-you-go program. No interest as long as you have decent credit over there. So stretch it out over 3 years. Get a brand new bedroom set for about $45 a month. Head on over to ghostbed.com/Drinkin Bros today. Next up, former CDC director endorses Donald Trump. Former CDC director Robert Redfield has officially endorsed former President Donald Trump, praising Trump's approach to health policy and administration. This endorsement was delivered in a Newsweek editorial where Redford expressed confidence in Trump's ability to restore American health and tackle issues within the U.S. health system. Perhaps the most unexpected development came when Redfield admitted to RFK Jr. that he believed Kennedy got everything right concerning his criticism of the CDC, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. Kennedy, known for his outspoken stance on vaccine policies and his book, criticizing both Dr. Anthony Fauci and Redfield, expressed shock at the endorsements. Kennedy described the moment by saying, "This was breathtaking to me because this is the guy who's the head of the CDC that I've been criticizing for years." Redfield, who would lunch with Kennedy following the endorsement, acknowledged the sharp critiques but stated that RFK Jr.'s analysis was accurate. That's shocking. The meeting marks a unique moment in U.S. health policy discourse with two prominent figures from opposite sides of the debate finding common ground on challenges the country faced during the pandemic. Now, I've heard rumors out of the Trump campaign that they would potentially make him head of the CDC. Is there any truth to that?
I don't know about all that. I mean, who knows? But it is this is really interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
I mean, this was 3 years ago. They wouldn't even allow us to have him on our YouTube, or they were going to delete the channel.
Well, I'm not even talking about Kennedy. I'm talking about Redfield.
Both. But I mean, it was the CDC who had the fucking pressure of the government that was reaching out to everybody left and right, saying they were going to censor people, which they did.
No, I know that part. But this is like having the guy who was in charge of it come out and endorse Trump and then promote RFK, who was, lambasted every way you can be back then, is pretty fucking interesting. It's so you have a career bureaucrat from the CDC. You have Trump, who, whatever he is politically, I don't think it's as easily defined as people say it is, but then RFK, who's like a traditional Democrat, all talking about how the system failed us at the same time. That's something new. I don't know if we've seen something like that before. Like, despite the relationship between Reagan and Tip O'Neill, who was the Speaker of the House when Reagan was president for most of it, despite that relationship they had, which was pretty cozy, despite the fact that they were Republican and Democrat, at no point was there government corruption where, like, Reagan and Tip O'Neill and then like the director of the FBI or something were like, hey, we got to do something about this corruption. You know what I mean? I don't know if this has ever happened before. So it's really interesting, and I don't know what the fallout's going to be from it. But I do know the immediate observation is that over the past 6 to 12 months, all the lies from the Democratic Party have unraveled, right? I don't know how that's affected voters or if it has, frankly. Like Biden's mental competency. They lied about that so hard.
But that's what I was talking about the polls earlier.
I don't care about that.
I know, but it's
all,
shocking.
All of the obvious lies about Biden, the lies about censorship, all the lies about COVID. And these are lies not like politicians bait and switch or just talking shit or whatever. These are things that had real negative effects on most people in the country. Like, all three of those things had negative effects on the vast majority of the population. I don't know what the fallout's going to be, if anything, from that, to be honest. I don't know. Like, it's because we're watching two different fucking feeds of the Truman Show right now. You know what I mean? I'm
just trying to figure out which one's real.
Well, the one that's real is the one that you can observe yourself. Can you go recreate the conditions for what they're saying? That's science, right? Biden has vascular dementia. I can look at him talk and say and know that's true.
But like, and again, I'll go back to the polls because this is part of this next story here. If I'm saying Truman Show here and trying to figure out what's real, Trump by 10 in this election, but that's not what I'm seeing and hearing every fucking day. So who knows? Dustin Jones just gave us $20 and said, "Have you guys ever heard of Esoteric Agenda?" I don't know what that is.
No.
Do you? Yeah, no idea. I'm sorry, Daniel. Or Dustin. Some things are above my pay grade, and that's a lot of things.
It looks like some kind of Freemason thing based on the logo I'm seeing.
I never was a Freemason. I don't think I ever got asked to join that.
I'm a freemium Mason.
What's
like, it's
that
free,
it's
but there are upcharges.
Documentary. To say it is, this is what it reads on IMDb. This is the summary on IMDb.
Okay.
To say it is a conspiracy theory is an understatement. The fate of the world is not in the hands of the people as it should be. Rather, a growing body of evidence points to an ancient esoteric order that is behind wars, famine, economies, and even mainstream media. From corporate logos to military insignia, we see their symbols every day, yet we fail to acknowledge the extent of their control. It is as if their secrets are hiding in plain sight. In a world where there seems to be no hope beyond the glimmering images distracting us from the truth, we can discover our own sacred nature and reclaim the world.
Okay. We live in a simulation. That's what I think.
Simworld. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're in the Simworld land. And that's fine.
Which is like, it brings back into, the Truman Show a little bit as an example, because you see the horizon and something looks off, right? So you're going to go over there and poke it, see what happens. Oh, that's a wall. Shit, I'm boxed in here. I don't know what that looks like in today's world, to be honest.
To me, it's the media. It's not a wall or something else. Like, it's just the media of what I'm reading and hearing every day. That's me personally. That's why I feel like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. Because I watched the shit, and this will lead into the next story here. I don't know what the fuck is going on, including, with the President of the United States. So this next story is Kamala Harris not knowing is a good thing. MSNBC host Stephanie Rule Baby showered Kamala Harris with praise and repeatedly shrugged off her non-answers following her sit-down. Appearing on Deadline White House, Rule said that while Harris didn't want to go deep on her plans with tariffs. She claimed the VP had a serious plan as it relates to manufacturing. If you think about the big economic legislation that has been passed in the last 4 years, we've actually seen billions of dollars being put to work, thousands of jobs being created, much of which are in red states and red counties, bringing back manufacturing jobs, Rule told MSNBC colleague Nicole Wallace. Now, while they're not the old manufacturing jobs, they are new manufacturing jobs, and this friction, this period of change, doesn't just happen overnight. So Donald Trump, who really appealed to that blue collar, that union worker in 2016, kind of guttural, emotional level, we've seen the Biden administration appeal to that base on a policy level. But she knows she's not getting those votes overnight here.
That's all gobbledygook nonsense.
Yeah.
But she goes on to say that she shrugged off the non-answers. So somebody was kind of questioning her about, well, she didn't actually answer any of the questions. And, she said it's complicated, right? We're in a country of 330 million people. Our economy is complicated in the same way. Is the economy good or bad? It totally depends. So tariffs, if used in the right places, can work. Well, what about the ones Trump was talking about?
Yeah.
Well, I'll get to that in a second. And one could watch and say that, well, she didn't have a clear, direct answer. That's okay because we're not talking about clear or direct issues. So it's a good thing that she doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about. Now, a word on tariffs really quickly. They're good when you put them on American billionaires and corporations, but not good when you put them on foreign countries and their billionaires.
Like China.
See how that works?
Yeah.
That's a weird thing. But they're not gray areas. It's math, right? Things cost money, and this, bullshit about billionaires and corporations in America not paying their fair share is a very easily disproven theory. If all the billionaires in America were taxed at 100%, which is to say all of their cash, all of their assets were taken away by the government, that would account for $2.5 trillion. And that would fund our government for 8 months.
Yep. And that's it. That's
8 months.
Yeah.
Right? So make no mistake, the taxation of major corporations or billionaires will never even make a dent. It'll never make a dent. Every tax plan they have will eventually have to be aimed at you because there's 180 to 220 million taxpayers in any given time period. It has to come to you because that's where the bulk
they are all
of the
going
money
after the middle class.
So, I don't know. Why would you not want to take that? Well, two things. Why would you not want to take that burden and send it to foreign places? If it's going to exist somewhere, make them pay, right? People want access. It's just not true that tariffs on China are going to damage the American economy. That's fucking stupid, right? People were like, oh, they'll just raise their prices and pass it on to the consumer. No, they won't. Because otherwise they won't sell their products here. People will stop buying them, you idiot. Mm-hmm. China depends on American consumers to fucking buy their shit. And then the other part of it is the question is always about where's the tax dollars going to come from and never about why are we paying taxes in the fucking first place? You know what I mean? What did you do for me today that cost me 40% of my fucking earnings?
Yeah.
Specifically today, I want a list of the shit you did because I don't give a fuck about anything you're doing right now. And by the way, Zelensky popped by the White House to pick up another $2.5 billion today.
I heard it was 8. I heard it was 8 total, 2.5 today, and then the other is an ammunition there. So that's fun for no fucking reason whatsoever. But back to this interview here. Look, we played that clip on the show yesterday. You knew it was going to be a bullshit interview. She already said it on fucking Bill Maher last week. That it doesn't matter what her beliefs are and issues, and if she doesn't know anything, she's just not Trump. And again, this will go back to the Truman Show thing. I mean, you have a candidate who's running, who's done 3 interviews, says they want to do a debate, but it has to be on CNN again after the other candidate did it. And
well, it's all unraveling.
Doesn't have any policy whatsoever, and it's just joy, joy, joy. And you're seeing people from the left switch and being like, great, man, how am I going to buy my fucking groceries with joy?
Sure, yeah. Well, again, it's all unraveling for people, and I wonder how I do wonder how the average CNN and MSNBC viewer reads all this. I don't know about that. But let's be frank, that's a total of about 6 million people.
It's not a lot.
It's not very much. Even, I don't know what the broadcast news, because you have to count them too. I don't know what they're.
Around 7. So, like, you take David Muir, he averages around 7 million a show, which makes him number 1. But nobody's really watching news. Do you know where it really is, to be honest with you? It's the clips. It's the clips from CNN and MSNBC. And if you can get one of these fucking things to go viral, that's kind of it. And that's how we hear about them.
So
nobody's really sitting down and watching these full shows anymore.
Network news, 1, 7, 6, 14. About 20 million people watch network news total for across all the networks. And then cable is going to account for another maybe 10 million. That's 30 million out of the 200 million people that vote. Well, 200 million registered voters, so I guess 160 million vote. So, I don't know, less than a fifth of people who vote are watching the news. So where are they getting this information? Where's the average person getting their information?
Clips on social media.
That they think that, I mean, it's wild to me. It's wild to me how uninformed people are. But, you know, again, it's all unraveling now. All this lawfare against Trump is unraveling. As a matter of fact, there's some breaking news about that. The appeals court in New York this morning said that Letitia James didn't have the prosecutorial authority to do any of the shit she did against Trump.
Huge shock.
So all that's going to get thrown out now.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It's just like a matter of days, maybe weeks at the appellate division. They're going to throw that case out. Next will be his criminal conviction. That'll get thrown out. And, you know, the average person who gets their news from wherever the fuck is going to get one of several messages. One, we've been vindicated. Two, Trump is in control of the government. See, this proves he's a tyrant. Mm-hmm. He's not blah, blah, blah. I mean, God fucking damn it. This is all like, in a way, this is all very simple. You know, what one group of people who have been in charge for the decline of America for the past 50 years are constantly telling you that this outsider is a threat, right? And anybody that likes him is also a threat. He's a deplorable. As a matter of fact, Hillary yesterday doubled down on that deplorable thing. She actually said it was too kind for them now. Yeah. Right? That's how they feel about you. And it's weird, man. It's weird to, like, I imagine myself in the Roman Square and the minstrel or the screamer, what the fuck they call him? Whatever the fuck they call him.
Is it this one?
No. The guy who just yells information to the town. Town crier.
Town crier!
But that town crier is more of a medieval phrase. There was a different word for it in Rome. But anyways, I can imagine that guy reading off like, Julius Caesar says you guys are all a bunch of deplorable plebs. He hates you all. Blah, blah, blah. But make sure you get out and vote.
Yep.
Get out and vote for him. Thanks. See you guys later.
Early voting starts next week, guys.
Yeah.
So grab your towel.
It just seems so odd to me that people who constantly denigrate the entire U.S. population as being too stupid to be able to figure out how to fucking get IDs or how to vote properly or whatever the fuck else get voted for. It's wild.
And going back to your comment earlier about the news, it's all failing. So CNN now, as of this morning, said they're going behind a paywall. So that's going to be fun for them because nobody's buying that shit.
Who's doing it?
CNN. So in early October, CNN will begin experimenting with charging some readers for digital access, and part of its bid to shore up its business as cable television erodes industry-wide. So
yeah, have you ever heard that?
That's why.
Have you ever heard that phrase? If you're good at something, never do it for free.
Yeah,
that is true on an individual level. But if you have a great product, give it away.
Yeah. If
you have a great product, give it away, and you will make millions of dollars as a result of that. But anytime you see a business contract and then start trying to charge more for certain services, that business is it's already dead. It just doesn't know it yet.
Yeah.
We've got to monetize.
CNN is done.
We got to monetize in the margins now. It's like, oh yeah. I mean that is why cable failed, right? Now it's coming back a little bit with YouTube TV, but it failed for a long time. That's the reason.
It's not getting any better either, kids. That's why we're out there gambling, dude.
Wait, didn't CNN already have a pay service that failed?
Yeah, they canceled it. It's CNN Plus, remember?
So it's going to do another one?
3 weeks. No, so this one is just going to be for their digital articles.
Yeah, but...
The other one was video.
No, I know, but people aren't going to pay for that either.
No, they're not.
How can you make the same mistake twice in 3 years?
Don't know.
It almost bankrupted the company.
But I think that's where they're this close to bankruptcy that this is the last-ditch effort. This is it. You've already tried the CNN Plus. That app got canceled in 3 weeks. Done. You've already fired all your hosts who had big salaries and all that other shit. Now you're going to charge them for your news? Nah, dude, that's not going to happen. Next up, ad-wise, is mybookie.com. Promo code Drinkin' Bros doubles that first deposit all the way up to $1,000. Get off the couch and get into the action today with MyBookie and turn your love of sports into your new side hustle. I have not been great in the NFL this year. Not been great. I'm going to turn it around tonight, though, all right? Thursday night game, Amazon Prime. It is the Dallas Cowboys, -5.5 against the New York Giants. I'm going to roll with the Cowboys tonight because Daddy's got to have a little something on it, all right? Getting back on that horse. Also taking Bama over Georgia this weekend. Sorry to my Georgia friends, but I don't know where the offense is coming from. Those are my two big bets of the weekend here. And for a third, I'm all in on Colorado beating UCF. Is it at UCF? Yeah. It is.
I would not take that bet.
That's a dumb bet.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, we're a 15-point favorite. We're going to smash Colorado.
You know who else was a 15-point favorite? Florida State. Every week. And they got fucking smoked. I've been great in college this year. It's been bad in the NFL.
It's not going to help your record.
Why do you think UCF's going to win?
Because we have the #1 rushing offense in the country.
Right, but you haven't played anybody.
We just beat TCU, whatever. Colorado barely beat Baylor. Baylor sucks.
Is Baylor better than TCU?
No.
Ooh. All right, I'm gonna money line it. I'm gonna money line Colorado.
Do
this
you,
weekend.
baby?
Yeah, I am. What time's that game? Do you know? Night game?
No, it's an afternoon game.
Okay. Is it gonna be fucking rained out because of the hurricane?
Hope not.
Me too. I don't want any of that bullshit there. They haven't said shit about that Georgia-Alabama game.
It's a 2:30 game.
It's a 2:30 game. Okay, good. That way, in case I lose, then I can fucking get back at the night game. Because that Georgia-Alabama game is the night game.
The weather should, at least according to the Braves stuff, the weather is fine on Saturday.
Okay, great.
Yeah, the Royals-Braves series should be fine. It was these two Mets games. So if Atlanta's fine, I assume Tuscaloosa's fine.
Yeah, they'll be fine down there. But bet with us or against us on mybookie.com. Don't forget to use that promo code Drinkin' Bros to double that first deposit all the way up to $1,000. Their live casino is fucking bomb, too. Hot Bob and Delco play Friday Night Blackjack on Drinkin' Bros Sports channel on YouTube. Subscribe to that. It's awesome because you're playing against a real dealer. So it's not like these other sites where it's a fucking avatar or some weird fucking cartoon you're playing against, or the computer just spins a wheel. No, you're actually playing against real people in real casinos. They got the cameras in there. They just don't turn the mics on, probably because they don't want to be yelled at. Every time I come, I had a business meeting, 2 weeks ago? And all I heard was Delco screaming, "Get fucked, motherfucker," at the top of his lungs. And I was like, yep, I'm going to go into the back room over there when you guys were shooting the blackjack show. So there's a reason the mics are turned off for the dealers, all right? But MyBookie's the best in the biz. Go to mybookie.com, promo code Drinkin' Bros to double that first deposit up to $1,000. Next up, Russia's going nuclear. Vladimir Putin says Russia would consider an attack from a non-nuclear state that was backed by a nuclear-armed one to be a joint attack and what could be construed as a threat to use nuclear weapons in the war in Ukraine. In key remarks on Wednesday night, the Russian president said his government was considering changing the rules and preconditions around which Russia would use its nuclear arsenal. Ukraine is a non-nuclear state that receives military support from the U.S. and other nuclear-armed countries. His comments come as Kyiv seeks approval to use long-range Western missiles against military sites in Russia. Ukraine's president, Zelensky, that fuck, has traveled to the U.S. this week and is due to meet with Joe Biden in Washington on Thursday, where Kyiv request is expected to be the top of the agenda. Ukraine is pushed into Russian territory this year and wants to target bases inside Russia, which says are sending missiles into Ukraine. Responding to Putin's remarks, Zelensky Chief of Staff Andriy Yermak said Russia no longer has anything other than nuclear blackmail to intimidate the world. Russian ally China has also called for calm, with reports President Xi Jinping has warned Putin against using nuclear arms. But on Wednesday, after a meeting with his Security Council, Putin announced the proposed radical expansion. What are your thoughts on this?
I don't care.
Same. I don't care.
Now, Kamala Harris today said that she had a little press conference with Zelensky and said some of my colleagues want to fucking force Ukraine to give up the part of their sovereign territory. It's like, no, I wouldn't. If Russia had called and said, hey, we're going to do this, do you mind? I'd be like, yeah, we don't do that, right?
Yeah.
But we're not going to go, I don't know, let's say cripple the U.S. economy to stop it from happening either. That's Europe's problem. It's not my problem. But she's like doubled down on it now. A Harris administration is one that presses forward against Russia. So it's a World War III party, basically, right? Because that's what's going to happen. Russia's going to use nukes, and then we're going to have to fucking do something about it.
Do you have that clip, Bob, by the way, with Kamala and Zelensky? I didn't see it. I'd love to hear it if you have it on Twitter. But here are my genuine thoughts on this. If I'm Russia and another country like the U.S. did this to me in a war like this over and over and over again by giving billions of dollars to them, I would see that as an attack on us, wouldn't you?
Yeah. I mean, if there it is. If Zelensky is asking permission from the United States and other NATO countries to fire offensive weapons into Russian territory, offensive weapons, by the way, provided by the United States.
Yeah.
Then yeah, that's an act of war.
I agree.
100%. That's why. That's how we ended up involved in World Wars I and II.
So if he nuked Ukraine, sent one nuke in there, I would understand why from a military perspective. Fuck, dude. How much money are we going to give these fucking people before Russia says, hey, dude, enough is enough? And you're the ones that we're at war with. Not just Ukraine, but you too, motherfuckers.
Yeah. I mean, I think we should start using nuclear weapons more, right? Like the worse war is, the less frequently it happens. When we went into Afghanistan in 2001, we should have nuked like right outside of at least one major city, if not multiple, but like maybe 40 or 100 miles outside of the city, drop a fucking 10 kiloton nuke, boom, and you can see that mushroom cloud. Like, then you drop leaflets or have people fucking spread the news that if we find one Al-Qaeda operator here, if we find one member of the Taliban still in charge, you got 1 month, we're going to nuke the whole fucking place. That's how you win, right?
Yeah.
So look at what happened in Germany after World War II. We spent a lot of money reconstructing the west side. Russia did its thing on the east side. But they maintained all of their fucking socialist bullshit after that in a lot of ways. Whereas, and anti-American sentiment as well, to a large degree. Now, what happened in Japan?
It's funny. I was just going to ask you that. So we did that, and then we never did it again.
We dropped 2 bombs on Japan, and they went from a culture that thought the state was God and that they should die for the state should they be asked, right? And like kamikaze style, for real. Like literally suicide bomb somebody.
Yeah.
To fuck that. We're going to build tech. Like an imperial, they went from an emperor to democracy in a lot of ways. I mean, it's still a constitutional republic there. Within the course of about a 12-year period, and are now the 5th largest economy on Earth, 3rd largest economy on Earth. It's us at 350 million people. It's us. Then it's China at 1.4 billion people. And then it's Japan at 80 million.
Yeah, but then it's Germany right after that.
Yeah. Germany did well in the European economy. They're the biggest economy there. And it's mostly because of the Marshall Plan and us restoring things to them. But
I think Japan has, 40, 50 million more people than Germany?
Japan's
over
probably
100.
40, because I think Japan is 120 and I think Germany is 80.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
You know, the wildest thing too is like they're probably like for real our best ally, I would say. Now
Japan,
yeah,
they're one of them certainly. And the point of all that is that you have to if there's an people can disagree on stuff, Protestant, Christian, whatever, right? I don't give a fuck about that. But it does cause political strife that has to be dealt with. Sometimes it has to be dealt with in combat. But to change the culture of a country from one that is us against the entire rest of the world, and we're going to kill everybody if we have to change that culture, which is the Islamic culture right now. Frankly, they want to build a fucking global caliphate. You have to do something so devastating that they give up that culture. And I think we should start nuking Islamic countries at the earliest possible opportunity. Boom, boom. Who's going to fucking stop us?
No one.
You know what I mean?
No one.
We should do that, and look, everybody's going to hate America for a couple of years, just like they did after World War II in a lot of ways, in Asia at least. And then they'll be like, oh, shit, now our countries are not bullshit.
Yeah.
So, pro-nuke, that's me. Pro-nuke everybody.
Serious question here about Hiroshima. Do they ever recover? Does the city itself ever recover? Is it like Chernobyl?
No, it's wonderful.
It is?
Yeah, dude.
So explain to me, because I don't know this, for real. If you drop a nuke there in one of these cities or one of these countries, how long until you can rebuild?
It depends on the type of nuke.
Yeah, this was like the first ever nuke, so it really was. So here's a little.
No shit, it looks better now. Look at that, it cleared out some space.
Yeah. Quite a bit.
But it wasn't.
Nice
I mean,
river.
There was nuclear fallout, and like people died well after the fact from it. But it was not a powerful nuclear weapon.
Ballpark a year. Like what's the time frame of something?
A couple generations, probably.
It was not generations, but it took a minute. I really don't know off the top of my head.
15, 20 years?
Probably less than that.
Okay. Well, shit. If you take the Middle East, yeah, dude, we got plenty of time for that.
The largest bomb that we have right now is the B-83, and it is 1.2 megatons.
I bet you that could fuck some shit up.
That's 1.2 million sticks of dynamite. Wow. Basically. I don't know what the fallout would be, though, like how long, because some of them are like 30 years, which is not optimal.
I believe we have bombs now where the catalyst, like the initial explosion, is just the size of what dropped on Hiroshima.
We've got.
I'd like to see it. It sounds fun.
What do you mean, like conventional bombs, non-nuclear?
No nukes, but the initial blast that sets everything off is the size of.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think the little boy was like 2.5 kilotons or some shit like that, which is.
That's what they named the bomb.
The Fat Man Little Boy, yeah.
Little Boy.
That's why Rogan's rooms are named that.
Oh no shit!
Yeah.
I just thought he liked overweight people and children.
Yeah, so the
Weird.
the B-83 is 80 times stronger than the one dropped on Hiroshima.
Can I show you the most important thing about nuclear fallout, though?
Yeah.
This is a map of Sweden. On the right is where they got the most radioactive fallout from Chernobyl.
Yep.
On the left is their current porn preference.
No shit.
So for some reason, high exposure to high levels of radiation makes you more into hentai porn.
What is hentai porn?
Glad you asked. I'll bring that up. Hold on just a second.
Thank you, Bob. I need to know what that is because I'm a journalist. And I need every question answered, every stone unturned here, Bob.
Are you a fan of octopi?
The actual octopus
Yeah,
itself?
it's like tentacle porn.
No, I'm not into that.
I mean, it's just like anime porn in general.
God damn
No,
it.
classical hentai is,
Yeah,
you're going to have
true.
some tentacle porn in
I
it.
can't get off on it. I know people though who love that shit. So yeah, that's a fucking huge genre. This fucking anime bullshit. No, I need real people doing some shit to each other here. I can't get down on any of this. Sorry, man. I wish
Well,
to say
you
I
haven't been
could.
nuked.
Not yet. And I guess if you took everything away from me in a nuclear bomb and I was only left with this, yeah, then I would be forced to get off to
I'm
it.
sorry, I said 1,000 sticks of dynamite. 1,000 tons of dynamite.
Oh, okay.
My bad.
That's better.
Yeah, it's quite a bit better. Still can't find what the fallout estimates are for that though, like year-wise. If it irradiates the soil, how long until somebody can move back there? Because I know some of the larger bombs are like 25 to 40 years or something like that. But that's not that long. That's one generation.
Yeah, but if somebody launches a nuke, everyone launches a nuke, right?
No, not necessarily.
I don't
Like
think so.
if you launch an ICBM, that's bad news because nobody knows necessarily where it's going, so they might just hit their auto switch.
Yeah, it would just be like a fucking trigger that would set everybody off.
Yeah.
You know what's weird? I genuinely believe this. So if it was Trump in there, Xi Jinping and Putin, I don't think anything would happen if they nuked some other country simply because they care about money too much. The three of them. I think the three of them care about money too much to be like, nah, because China needs our economy to survive. Russia needs our fucking bullshit. So yeah, dude, I don't think we need China. I don't think anything would happen if we nuked someplace in the Middle East.
No, nobody would care about it. China doesn't want anything to do with it. They've been telling Russia to shut the fuck up, basically.
Yeah, because all they care about is money, which is what we should do here. Like, giving this fucking money to Ukraine is stupid at this point. Jesus Christ. Over and over again. I love how homie's just rolling in, though, fucking 39 days before the election. Just trying to get that last hit, dog. You know? Man, can I get the money for my war? I'll suck your tit, Kamala.
Yeah. Yeah, to be honest, I don't think he's going to exist on this earth much longer.
Really?
As is the case, anytime the U.S. uses a proxy somewhere, they don't last long, right? I'm thinking like Torrejo, Noriega, just in Panama, right? To some degree, we helped prop up most of the cartels. And any member of theirs that has crossed us, we've killed them. The Taliban, we did that. ISIS, we did that.
I think here's my guess, and it's strictly if Trump gets in. If Trump gets in, I think he shuts that Russia-Ukraine war down pretty quickly. Mm-hmm. And I think for Zelensky, not only does he want it to go down, because he can say to everybody in the world, hey, dude, I was this fucking comedian. I fought the old mighty Russia. We solved it. Maybe I gave up a little land, but I protected Ukraine as a whole.
Yeah.
And he becomes a hero in his fucking country and all that other shit.
Let me tell you this. Weeks, maybe months after Zelensky is no longer president there, he will get poisoned by Russia and he'll be dead.
You think so?
Yeah, I would bet my life on it, yes.
Okay.
They cannot have somebody out there who outplayed them. They won't allow it. It's an old KGB thing. They'll wait 25 years sometimes and be like, nah, you shouldn't have done that clip.
Now, if Kamala gets in, this continues. We just keep giving them money till the end of fucking time, and because Russia's not giving up.
Yeah.
We'll just keep giving money over and over and over again, and that's my guess with that. But
I think we should send them more money, but like not real money.
What kind?
Prussian francs or something. Just some currency that doesn't exist anymore. Be like, well, we don't care, so this is what we have left.
So we have something here at our grocery store. HEB is the biggest grocery store in Texas.
Or Kohl's Cash.
Well, this is called...
you can get a lot of Green Bay Packers fucking knockoff gear with Kohl's Cash.
You sure can. But at HEB, they got Buddy Bucks for kids.
Oh, I don't like that.
And then you get to spin the thing and get some stickers if you win, if the wheel turns out in your favor. I think sending them some Buddy Bucks from HEB and some Kohl's Cash would go a long way. And I think he'd be grateful for it. He doesn't really need $8 billion today.
No, but he could use a wardrobe upgrade. And not that Kohl's is a great place or anything, but it's better than where he's shopping.
Yeah, and if you're out there with that $8 billion, Zelensky, and you're looking to spend some money, I'd do it at MontanaKnifeCompany.com. Get yourself some blades. Sharpest knives out of the box. Best in the biz. Grab a fucking Blackfoot 2.0 or a Speed Goat or a Stonewall Skinner there. And you know what, Zelensky, I'm going to give you the promo code. It's DB10. You're going to get 10% off just in case you're a guy who likes to save money. Montana Knife Company was founded by one of the most experienced bladesmiths in the world, Josh Smith. He's been making knives for 30 years, made in the USA, manufactured locally in Montana, designed, tested, and built by hunters. Montana Knife Company is a hunting knife company, first and foremost. Sharpest knives out of the box, like I said, easiest knives to sharpen. Montana Knife Company is a young company, but they're working hard to keep up with the demand. Montana knives sell out within minutes of being released, so head on over to MontanaKnifeCompany.com to see what's available. And DB10 is going to get you 10% off your first order. My favorite knives are those kitchen knives. maybe Zelensky can get some of those at MontanaKnifeCompany.com. Also, I want to shout out Josh Smith. Obviously, we're friends and fans of the country music singer Tim Montana. When he travels, he's got sponsors on the back of his bus. One of them is Montana Knife Company, which I love, dude.
Yeah.
For Tim Montana.
Yeah, I mean, he may not know that he doesn't own that company. He smokes a lot of weed. So just to be fair.
That was my first thought when I saw it. Shout out to Tim, though, if you're listening. He sang the national anthem at the Steelers game over the weekend. And he's opening up for Creed in Connecticut, dude. What a fucking dream life he's living right now. Good for you, Tim Montana. We love you. Next up, George Soros is purchasing 200 U.S. radio stations. That's not great. Also shouldn't be legal. The FCC seemingly approved a deal that would fast-track left-wing billionaire George Soros' acquisition of more than 200 Odyssey radio stations across America, irking Republican commissioner who objected to it. No shit. The New York Post first reported that the FCC last week adopted an order to approve Soros' purchase of more than 200 radio stations in 40 markets just weeks before the presidential election, potentially allowing the far-left kingmaker to reach more than 165 million Americans at a critical time. The FCC's decision came after a partisan vote, with the commission's 3 Democrats voting for the move, while the 2 Republicans voted against it. Sources added. Post reporter Lydia Moynihan wrote, under existing FCC rules, foreign company ownership of U.S. radio stations is not supposed to exceed 25%. Soros took foreign investment to make his bid and then made a filing asking the commission to make an exception to the unusual review process, according to public documents. The FCC decision to fast-track his deal is the first time in modern history such a deal has been approved by the full commission without first running through national security review process, a process that usually takes up to a year or more. Soros Group told the Post that they would circle back to the FCC in the near future to run that process. Sure they will. If the deal goes through, Soros would he'd be considered a major shareholder, but not necessarily the owner of the stations. This is all a crock of shit.
Yeah,
what's the fucking dollar amount?
I don't know that. It's bad enough that this motherfucker has funded 270 judge and district attorney races in this country to reshape American politics as he sees fit. Now he's going to do it on the communication side as well. He's creating vertical integration in propaganda.
Yeah.
This guy should be fucking killed immediately, and his son should also be killed.
Well, his son's dating...
I don't give a fuck who he's dating. They both need to be executed.
Yeah.
Like you cannot allow this bullshit. You cannot allow this. It cannot fucking happen.
How is it being allowed is what I don't really understand.
Because we don't actually live in a free country, and we never have, right? It's always been subject to the whims of some rich or powerful asshole or another, just like every other country in human history. But typically when in human history people notice that there is a guy or two who's going out of his way to fucking ruin the country. And I don't mean look, if somebody wants to buy a media company and talk about themselves all and their politics all day, they have every right to do that, right? But when you're fucking using your money to put people into power, like literally into powerful positions that are going to kill America, right? That refuse to obey the law or prosecute the law correctly, who push for these globalist agendas that rip away at the country. Like that is he's an American citizen now. That is a treasonous act, and the punishment for treason is clear. Title 21. Look it up.
Frightening Me in the chat says 400 million was the dollar amount there.
That's like fucking pocket change.
It is. Truthfully, for 200 stations, that's pretty cheap overall.
Well, I mean, they're not worth anything.
No, I mean, look, AM and FM radio is going away, but if you're, what's 200 million, or I'm sorry, what's $400 million this close to an election? Because the people that are, what was the reach, 165 million? If you can do it and you can afford it, yeah, fuck. Why not? Why not try to influence an election like that? I understand why he's doing it. I don't understand why we're allowing him to do it. So, yeah, as this continues to go on, again, if it was an American, Cool, man.
He is an American.
Well, technically.
And
right?
his son was born in New York.
Yeah.
But they're committing treason right now. Like spending money and using power to make our country worse. And it's not a debate over one political position or another. It is a demonstrable problem that these DAs and fucking judges are letting people back onto the streets that are actually murdering people, right?
Like crime is down.
There are damages to be shown there. Like everything they're doing, every dollar they spend is to propagandize Americans and then to amass as much power as they can, and then they use that power to hurt the country. Those people are treasonous. They need to be put in prison and then tried and then executed for it.
How old is Soros at this point?
94.
Is he really?
I think so.
How the fuck is this guy still able to live?
He's a billionaire.
Over and over? I know that, but I mean, shit, dude. At this point, and then the kids got the same exact agenda. And
I mean, I'm sure it's worse for him, right? Like Soros is just a guy who is kind of maniacal about manipulating global markets. That's how he got rich, is like manipulating foreign currencies in countries, starting wars, and then profiting off of it. That's how he made all of his money. His son is a true believer.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
He's a Marxist terrorist, basically. They will see the end of this country if they're allowed to.
Yeah.
And they can't be allowed to.
Well, they're certainly loading up here. I mean, if you follow his son's Instagram, or I'm sorry, not Instagram, Twitter over here, the amount of people this guy is able to meet with around the world and power and influence here is fucking insane, dude. And yeah, man, he looks young as shit.
Yeah, I think he's like 40, right?
Yeah. This is going to fucking keep going on.
45, maybe.
Over and over and over again.
Well, it will until something's done about it.
Yeah. We'll see. They're going after Trump, not him. Next up, sponsor-wise, we got bioproteintech.com. Guys, here's why your hormones suck. Every year after puberty, testosterone levels start to go down. Sorry, dude. It's just a fucking fact. There's nothing I can do about that. Luckily, there's a company that is. And that company is bioproteintech.com. In order to absorb testosterone optimally, you have to have adequate growth hormone. More specifically, its end result growth factors. Unfortunately, growth hormone decreases every year after puberty, like I said there, and it sucks. Which may explain your poor performance in the gym, even excess body fat. That's where BioPro Plus comes in. BioPro Plus gives you back those growth factors naturally, giving you HGH-like results with 0 needles, 0 side effects, and 0 doctor visits, all at a fraction of the prescription treatments you're seeing everywhere else. Best part about it is it works fast. It's easy to use, and it's 100% safe, trusted by physicians since 2009. Its benefits can be felt in just days instead of months. And guys who've used it have experienced better moods, sexual energy, metabolism, and workout recovery. So if you're out there and you want to fix the way you perform, look, and feel without all the risk of the big pharma synthetic stuff, head on over to bioproteintech.com. Use the promo code DrinkinBros for $30 off your first order. I've been using it for about 9 months. Comes in a little vial. You got 30 of them. Looks like a little round of ammo, to be honest with you, man. You pop one underneath your tongue, you'll feel a sting right before night-night time, and you're good to go, dude. Wake up feeling fresh, and your skin looks nice, too. I was outside over the weekend, though. I got tan. You know, my skin usually looks good, but it's, the tan really helped this weekend. It sure did. Rumor has it it's only going to be 93 this weekend, Delco. So, woo! Time to fucking break out the winter sweaters.
Well, I'm going to North Carolina, so I'll probably die in a hurricane.
Oh, yeah, you will die this weekend. Yeah, that will be nice. Will be nice. It's coming up through the states, not off the coast.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Next up, the real goof juice.
This is real, by the way.
Not fake news.
It's real. This is real news. Goof juice is a thing. Now, it's not branded that way.
Okay.
But it turns out that we've been putting stuff in our water that makes people dumb.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And now, it doesn't give you retard strength.
That was
like
my next
our
question.
version
Yeah, that was my next question.
Well, maybe it does. We just don't know yet.
Right.
I don't know how it's affecting that part, but it's definitely making people retarded. I just think it's making them retarded without the strength, which is what's the fucking point of that?
There's no point.
Like if I can't rip phone books in half, I don't want that forehead.
Yeah, me neither. If I can't fucking punch my way through goddamn drywall, I don't want to do any of it.
Like you don't want to be. Well, you know what? Actually, it did work out for Shane Gillis.
Yeah.
He doesn't look super strong. Maybe he was a college football player, so he probably is really strong.
Tough to say.
Yeah, but he's definitely tarded.
Yeah, and he's admitted that.
And it's done really well for him. Weiss hasn't nicked him.
He's doing great. He's rich as fuck now. So it's been it has been added to municipal water for decades, but a federal judge in California has ordered the Environmental Protection Agency, the EPA, to further regulate fluoride because high levels could pose an unreasonable risk to intellectual development of children. U.S. District Judge Dean Edward Chen, Tuesday said that scientific evidence of fluoride's health risk when ingested at current prescribed levels requires stricter regulations under the 2016 Toxic Substances Control Act. The act provides a legal pathway for citizens to petition the EPA to consider whether an industrial chemical presents health risk. All right, so this one, we actually have experienced this a little bit. Do you remember this happened in Wilmington? In the river?
With fluoride? Mm-hmm. I don't recall. I do remember some smoke about that, but I never paid attention. I don't really fuck with rivers, It's not my thing.
You stick to the lakes that you're used to?
Yeah.
Okay. It's TLC reference, by the way. So with this, a bunch of parents in the area were obviously up in arms about the drinking water and everything else, and there was too much fluoride in it, which is understandable, but this is happening in a lot of places, actually, not just California here. People are concerned about drinking water. And then Gary, street gonzo Gary, he was in Flint the other day,
Gary was?
Yeah, and he was drinking right out of the water.
I mean, he can. If Gary bathes in the water in Flint, then do they cancel each other out?
Not sure.
Like, how does that work?
Not sure how that works.
Is he here?
Is he here? Is he sleeping? Because they had a big edit coming out.
I've got a fucking.
Is this week's show in Vegas? Is that where you guys were at, Joel? Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
The last story is really mostly about Gary, but
is it really?
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, so he's in. Yeah, they got Vegas coming out tomorrow. Street Guns will be out tomorrow at 5 p.m. They went to Las Vegas. I haven't seen the cut yet, but I did see the video he sent me where he actually jumped into the water there at the Venetian. You know that little river with the gondolas and shit that goes inside the casinos? He jumped in that motherfucker, dude. And,
in Vegas?
Yeah.
You're talking about at the Paris?
Yeah. Is it Paris or is it Venetian?
It goes to both.
Yeah.
It goes under the street right there between Paris and Venetian.
Yeah, he jumped in, man.
That's gross.
Got cuffed up pretty fluoride, bro.
Yeah.
So if he ends up retarded, you know why.
Well, it's late for that, but between 1981 and 84, fluoride's association with the adverse effects, including some fucking stupid word.
Osteosclerosis?
Sclerosis, yeah. I don't know what that means. Something with bones.
It's when they do that test, right?
No, that's
in the gym?
No, that's seismology, I think.
Yeah. Earthquakes.
Where was I?
Osteoporosis.
Enamel fluorisis, psychological and behavioral problems were all contested. At the same time, he wrote that the court's findings don't conclude with much certainty that fluoridated water is injurious to public health. This is back in the day. And they're trying to defend it now. He says if the courts find a new chemical at issue presents an unreasonable risk, then it orders the EPA to engage in rulemaking regarding the chemical. This is the judge talking now.
Yeah.
The EPA is afforded, in the first instance, the authority to respond. Regulatory action can change from requiring a mere warning label to actually banning the chemical. So we don't know what the fallout from this is going to be, but there is concrete evidence now that fluoridated water leads to a decrease in IQ.
Yeah, it says some of the things associated with here at the bottom of the page here said check and see if your child is barking like DMX. Also, if they rip the shell off a turtle and then try to wear it on their back and break dance. Those are two side effects to fluoride. So, yeah, I mean, if you're a parent out there, watch out for that. If your kid comes home and he's, ow, like DMX, then obviously he's probably having some fluoride issues, and you might want to get that water checked. Now, the turtle thing, there's going to be a lot of blood.
Yeah.
Not only on the child, but also on your living room carpets. So,
and then you're going to want to check the area for additional turtles and a man-sized rat.
Yep.
That only walks on its hind legs for some reason. It may speak Japanese. They don't touch on that much. Like Splinter was raised by a Japanese guy.
Was he really?
Yeah. So it's like, why does he speak English to the turtles? Why do they speak English?
That's true.
Totally different show if they're all speaking Jap.
Yeah, do we have a song from the Ninja Turtles, Delco? Delco? Yeah, we sure do. Thank you.
They're Ninja Turtles. They're not Asian.
What are you talking about?
They're Italian.
They're if you have a Japanese master, okay, you should be speaking that language. Didn't he find him as fucking kids?
Shredder is, but he's the enemy. I mean, they're Italian. They're fucking...
No, Shredder killed Splinter's master, right? They were both Japanese dudes.
Yes. And then he took over the turtles, so why wouldn't the turtles be speaking Japanese? Solve that riddle.
Bibbidi-bobbidi. They're Italian.
Yeah, they're just because they're named after that. Do you know how many Japanese kids are named Leonardo after DiCaprio after the Titanic came out?
I don't think very many.
A lot.
No.
They're flooded with it.
What are Japanese last names?
Matsuyama.
Yeah.
Matsui,
Otani.
Suzuki, Tanaka, Kobayashi, Yamamoto, Nakamura.
Kobayashi just lost, by the way, to the throat goat himself there, Joey Chestnut on Netflix. So, yeah, dude, I don't know what's gonna happen with the water and all this other fucking bullshit. This is going on in a lot of places, not just California.
Yeah, I mean, you shouldn't be drinking tap water, anyways. To be honest,
yeah, my wife doesn't do it. No. I do.
I mean,
I drank out of the hose the other day.
Not any hippie bullshit. Like, it's just like our water. Everything is poison now. You got to stay away from that stuff.
I drink out of the hose. I'm like, fuck it, dude. I feel it's giving me more strength. I feel like, yeah, I want a little Artard strength running through my veins, you know? So, yeah, I just...
I mean, if you could prove that I lose 2 IQ points, but I get a lot more strength on the other side, I'd probably look into that.
Yeah.
Right? Because what's 2 points?
I agree.
You know what I mean? Just let me negotiate. Don't poison me.
You should be a little stronger.
Better teeth.
Yeah.
Better ingredients. Papa John's. Next up, 47 hours of madness. Amtrak announced a new temporary route on Monday, causing some social media users to question who would be willing to embark on the full journey. Today, we're proud to announce the launch of the Floridian. This train combines 2 iconic routes, the Capital Limited and the Silver Star, and will offer traditional dining throughout the full journey, Amtrak officials wrote on X, which was viewed more than 12 million times on Monday. A map of the route shows the train beginning its journey in Chicago, heading to Washington, D.C., before continuing south to Miami. There will be 1 train in each direction per day, said Amtrak, and the train will consist of Amtrak's Viewliner cars. Ooh, do we have a picture of this, Bob? Pull it up if you can. I'd love to see it. I'm trying to get the kids out of the house. I might have to hop on this thing. The train will make direct round trips between Chicago and Miami with intermediate stops in Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Washington, D.C., Jacksonville, Orlando, and Tampa. The Floridian offers customers an exceptional and sustainable journey to great destinations between Chicago and Miami, providing the amenities and delicious food our guests enjoy while traveling with us. Amtrak's executive VP and commercial chief officer said in a recent press release, previously riders on the Capital Limited train route from D.C. to Chicago did not have traditional dining car. Instead, the train had a less limited flexible dining option for its first class private room passengers, says Amtrak's website. I think it would be great for Street Gonzo and maybe you and JT to head on these things.
I think maybe in the spring, I think it would be fun because Jared's always wanted to do a train or bus thing. Bus, no fucking way I'm doing that.
Yeah. Not a prayer. Not a fucking
As a matter of fact, I don't know if you remember Chuck Brandon. Remember that guy?
Oh, yeah. I love Chuck.
There was something that he wanted to do in L.A., and Jared was like, yeah, we'll pay for it, but you're taking the bus, and I get to pick the route. And it was like a 2-week bus ride, basically.
Did he do it?
From Florida to L.A. Hell no, he didn't do it. Nobody would do that. But this looks kind of dope, to be honest. I want to do a full-on street gonzo murder on the Orient Express thing.
Okay.
Where obviously it's unlikely that somebody gets murdered on there, so what we're going to have to do is frame Gary for murder somehow.
That's pretty easy.
And the show is how does he? Can you knock it off with the sneezing?
Yeah, who is sneezing
That's
back
Bob.
there?
It's liberalism just
Jesus
leaking out of his
Christ,
body.
Bob.
Yeah, I think it would be fun for me, Jared, and the Gonzo boys to go do this.
So,
just like take a week.
Oddly enough, my wife's mom takes trains all the time. Here's the problem.
It's pretty popular in California, to be honest.
But here's the issue, dude, is they break down and they often hit things, animals and fucking people, and then you got to stop for like 2 hours while they clear the tracks.
Anytime I see a train, if I don't have anything to do that day, right? Like if, let's say I'm out of town and my plans get fucked up for some
Beefed.
reason, you know, I'll go throw like stray cats in front of the train. Or homeless people.
Yeah.
Just like, because I like to hear the noises. It's an ASMR thing.
Sure.
The crunch, the whatever. Just throw shit in. Or dead animals, obviously. I'm not throwing live animals in front of them.
Got it.
I'll just find dead cats in the city.
Yeah.
And then throw them and just
makes
throw
sense.
them out there.
Makes sense.
If I can find roadkill, like a big deer or something, I'll fucking dress it up like a person and leave it on the tracks.
Fuck those deers.
Just to see. Well, they're dead already. Yeah. I just think it's fun, you know.
Yeah, with all of this though, man, the internet usually sucks. It's very slow. They shut down. I don't know if this was Biden's big thing. Remember that he dumped a bunch of money into Amtrak because he took the fucking train to work every day.
Yeah.
Yeesh, dude. This sounds like a journey you do once, and I'm going to use the word journey because they are, and then you never do it again.
Don't stop believing in that. So, Bob, pull up the Drinkin Bro store.
Right quick.
We got some new shit on here.
Is there a train? Do we get wooden train whistles? Drinkin Bros wooden train whistles? That would be fun.
We could.
I love a good old-fashioned wooden train whistle.
We've got, what is that, Ohio State stuff?
Yeah. Fuck yeah, dude. I just talked to Brandon today. Look at that, dude. Ohio State's Hard AF merch. Let's fucking go, dude. Yeah. The future national champions this year.
And then there's also why is it not loading? What is going on here?
Our internet's bullshit.
It's like double posting the hoodie and whatever. But what are you looking for?
There's a new it's a barbecue set or some shit.
Oh, all right. Well, that'll be on a different, right?
I love the barbecue set. Yeah, pop that up, dude.
Those are all
we get fucking helmets, dude. We get Drinkin Bros helmets.
Yeah,
they're mini ones, by the way. They're sitting right here on top of my thing.
Yeah,
big fan of those.
Just go to
they're Rydell's too.
If you go to the main page and just click new apparel, I think it shows all of it in there. Yeah, that's a bundle. So it's the apron and the barbecue set.
This barbecue set fucking rocks, by the way.
I mean, it's not. There's not a whole lot of stuff in there, but it's good for like your tailgate kit. Or whatever. That's what we got.
It's got the essentials
and
in
it's
there.
got the Hard AF apron with it, so you can do your whole little barbecue.
It's got a spatula. It's got a knife.
Fork.
That's. Is it a fork or a prongy thing? I call it a little prongy thing.
That's what a fork is a prongy thing.
And then they got the fucking tongs in there. It rocks. That apron fucking rocks. Store's all stocked up. DrinkinBros.com. Get your merch. Today, T-shirts, hoodies. A lot of you guys have some nice weather around the country. We're not one of them. So you might need a hoodie soon. Yeah. And we're proud of you.
And the Bro Box this month, again, you've got some time to sign up for it. But if you want to make sure you get everything that's in it, it'll be shipped out on the 1st of October. So we got a new T-shirt design in there, and a stadium seat as well. Hard AF. So it'll complete the set, the football
tailgate
set basically, right?
Yep. I just used it the other night at my kids' football practice.
Yeah, they're very handy.
Awesome.
If you go to like youth league or high school sports or small college sports, most of those places have bench seats and they suck.
Yeah, they suck dick.
and your butthole will thank you.
Yeah, it really will. Especially you got kids. I'm out there a lot on those fields. All right. On drinkinbros.com, you can also submit for Drinkin' Bro of the Week. It gets emailed to us live on air, and we'll read your submissions. We got 2 in a row here. I'll read 2 today. Fuck it. First submission here is by Doug Poole, Florida, listener for 3 months. Welcome to the show, Doug Poole. He's nominating Chris Bowen, Living. Thank you for that. He says, hey, dude, I'm nominating Chris Bowen for getting me hooked on this goddamn podcast. He wouldn't stop talking about it so damn much that I originally hate listening to it and shit, but you guys fucking rock. Also, Hard AF Seltzer, which he got me to buy a case due to the WeFunder loot. For the WeFunder.com/HardAF Seltzer. Got me through a long 3-hour flights with my wife. 5 stars on the seltzer, so cheers. Thank you very much. You know who else hit me up today was our lawyer. We've been with him for how many years? And he hit me up and he goes, hey, dude, I finally had your seltzer.
Who?
We're working on. James.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
He goes, God damn, it's good. Green Apple. He goes, Green Apple fucks.
Doesn't he live here?
He lives here.
The fuck's his problem?
Dude. He works a lot.
I know, but you would think he would drink more. I don't mind him working a lot. He's always getting shit done.
I don't want my lawyer getting fucked up.
I do.
I like that he goes, I only had 1 can of it. He goes, yeah, it's.
I want him to like casually slip in profanity into every contract that we have.
Can't do that.
Like,
I do that in the emails.
Like herein known as fuckface or something like that. You know what I mean? Like file a lawsuit and just start talking a lot of shit.
The hilarious thing, too, is when you talk to people, they're always shocked of like how good it is. They're like, God damn, this is really fucking good. And I was like, yeah, man, why would we start a company if it wasn't? Fucking dick. I love you, though. Next up here, this one just came in, Drinkin' Bro submission. Louis Guzman. Maybe the actor. Maybe it's Louis Guzman, the actor. Who knows? Arizona listener since 2017. Randomly listened to Pegging Explained. That's how I got hooked on it. He's nominating Edwin Guzman, Living. It's his 28th birthday. He's always been a great big brother, slightly retarded, but he makes up for it with his dark humor. Got him to listen to this podcast and flew out to the election show a few years back. Thanks for everything. Absolutely, and thank you. And again, we will be live here in Austin, Texas for this year's election on November 5th at WTF in downtown Austin. It's free to get in. We're going to be getting shit kicked off at 6. And, like I said, 50 cases of Hard AF Seltzer will be there. And we might need more. Hopefully it's over by midnight, okay? If it's over by midnight, I feel like we got a fair election. Even 2 at the latest. If not, if that carries over, we don't have those votes from Maricopa County. We don't have our votes from Nevada or Fulton County in Georgia. Then we're all fucked. All right? We're all fucked. Okay? Saying that out loud.
You know, hold on, let me find the exact number here. It was in North Carolina. So the state election board, since last year, has now removed 747,000 ineligible voters from its voter rolls. That's 10% of all registered voters. Because they're dead. Or they've moved out of state, or they committed felonies, or changed address without re-registering, or haven't voted in at least 2 consecutive election cycles. There's a couple of disqualifying factors. But this is the first time they've done it in a long time, and it was 10% of the total registrants.
Trumps, man, Trumps. Love you guys. Appreciate you tuning in. Go to iTunes, rate the show a 5-star, and leave a quick review. Also, head on over to Spotify. It's just a 5-star. You can walk away at that point, all right? I think 8,700 reviews is what we're up to on Spotify, so we're getting close to the 10,000 mark, and I'll shut the fuck up about it forever. iTunes is like it's 7,500 reviews. Like, you got to fucking beef up those numbers, dude. I don't like saying it, all right? I know you don't like hearing it. I'd rather sign off with something else, like fucking rub on your titties. That'd be a fun sign-off. But instead, I have to say this bullshit because you guys won't do it. Appreciate you tuning in. For Dan and Anthony Hollaway, I'm Ross Patterson. This is Drinkin' Bros Fake News. Good night.